just like that. So we have about 85.
Yes.
Is it mild, moderate, or severe?
I would say mild.
A mild
right?
pull.
Until the last pull, maybe.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Is that what you want me to do?
And the fingers. Pull the fingers back.
Yeah. That's this one. Am I supposed to be touching?
Just make sure you get your pinky.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, that changes everything.
So I got 85 and probably about 10. What do you feel?
A sharp pain in here.
Sharp pain,
Yeah.
right in here?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's where I suspect it would be. So now we're gonna do the other side.
Okay.
Since we're having double-sided issues, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
With the pinky, right?
Nope, this time just the palm, like just the wrist.
Oh, okay. That's right.
First time just this. Okay. Alright, so I have about 85 degrees on this side, and what do you feel on this side?
It's not as bad as the right.
Not as bad as the right. Do you
Mm-mm.
feel like it's a pull in the anterior
Yeah,
part?
still same pull.
Anterior forearm pull. Alright,
Mhm.
now let's do the fingers. And keep the pinky in there, okay. So I have 85 and 10 degrees, and what do you feel?
It's tighter more up here on this arm.
More in
I don't
the,
know
yeah, okay. So now we're just going to talk about what I found through doing the exam, okay? So you came in here because you're having issues in the front rack position, a lot of tightness, and also pain in kind of in the anterior forearm, especially on the one side you felt it more, right?
Yes.
And you felt it kind of coming up like into the anterior aspect of the shoulder, but primarily you were talking about in here.
Yeah.
And during your consult we talked about how you're not having any numbness, which is really good, and you're really feeling it pretty much only when you're doing your front rack type, workout stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're getting some fatigue when you're doing pull-ups as well.
Yes.
So that's pretty classic for a lot of times we hear with people that are doing CrossFit and doing a lot with the front rack. That's actually a really classic symptom that they will say that it's only happening when I'm doing it. I feel really tight, and then when I do pull-ups afterward, I feel really fatigued. That's not uncommon at all.
Okay.
So when we went into the exam, that's my suspicion was that the tissue was definitely going to have a ton of adhesion in it, and I was not disappointed. Okay, I was not disappointed by that assumption at all. So the primary issue is for sure adhesion. Adhesion is your prime issue. I don't suspect that you have any degeneration, at least at this time, because you're not feeling it all the time. You're only feeling it when you're using it, and that's really classic for it being a myofascial or a muscular problem specifically. So that's good, because we're the only clinic, in New Jersey for sure, that can find and fix adhesion, but we're one of the only clinics on the East Coast and one of just a handful in the entire country. And I'm the only upper extremity specialist that does what we do here, removing adhesion through manual adhesion release. So that's going to be using my fingers like I did on that median nerve when I was testing that one out, using my fingers. And then we also use a little instrument. I think he's in my pocket somewhere. But it's a little instrument to get the adhesion out.
Okay.
So that's how we treat it. And I'm the only upper extremity specialist that does what we do. So I only do upper extremities all day, every day. I don't do any other body tissue or region at all. So that's another huge benefit, because this is what I do all day.
Yeah.
And this is what I like to do all day. So what is adhesion, right? Everybody's like, okay, so adhesion, I have that. Who cares? What is that, right? So we kind of talked about this a little bit already. So your muscle is like a raw piece of steak, and it should be compressible, it should be soft, the muscle should be strong, it should be able to withstand, what you give to it, the load that you put on it. When you have adhesion is like glue in the steak, and if you can just imagine for me, if you're pushing on a steak without glue, it's nice and compressible, raw steak, you can push right down through it, but if you were to squirt some glue and let it dry into a piece of steak, you're going to push down, and eventually you feel like it doesn't compress anymore, it's hard. And as I was palpating on your tissues, both in the shoulder and in your forearms, that's what I was feeling. It was hard. So when we have adhesion, the muscle becomes weak and less flexible. Right. And you're saying, okay, Dr. Foster, cool, adhesion, but I'm a fit person, so why am I feeling symptoms? The reason we feel symptoms has everything to do with the capacity, our capacity. So the body is like an empty cup, 100% capacity, right? And then as we do things, we fill the cup, and that's load. So we're putting load into our empty cup. So when we work out and we use the tissue, we're loading our joints, we're loading the tissue by just working out. But that shouldn't prove symptoms, it shouldn't give us symptoms, because it's not going over 100%, it's maybe 25%. Or if you're really fatigued, maybe even less than that. But if we load adhesion on top of working out, right, and then we overload it with some more chronic, overloading, so we're doing it all the time no matter what, that's when we start to overflow the cup potentially, and we call that like the symptom threshold. So that's when we're finding the symptoms or feeling the symptoms because we're overloading it. So when you're not doing the front rack position, you don't really feel it because you're not overloading it over your cup. You're not spilling over the cup, you're still under the cup or under the threshold of the 100%. So that's why you're not going to feel it.